I'm just going to record this. So yeah, 2 blocks and a strap this morning. And we're going to journey towards the splits and its many variations. And we've done practices like this so many times, and we've experienced, the feeling of moving towards this kind of practice in our bodies and what that kind of brings forward for us many times. But I would love to just kind of give us the opportunity this morning to kind of move towards it with a clean slate a bit, actually, without feeling like we have to push and pull the body into certain shapes. And when I say things like a journey to the splits, it can make people feel a bit nervous and make people feel a bit worried. And it needn't do. It's just that sometimes naming a peak pose gives us all a really well-rounded idea of what we might be doing and where we're heading. So even if your end pose isn't actually Hanuman, isn't actually splits, you are still moving towards that pose in your body, in your way. So everything that we do in the lead up to those kind of, I'm going to say, bigger poses, and what I mean by that is the ones that take us kind of beyond where we would go almost when we're just kind of like easing into the body. Things like half splits and a low lunge and things like that we do anyway in practice all the time. But particularly when we have a focus in that space and in that area of the body, what's really useful and what's actually important for us to do in our physical practice is to put our mind in the muscle. Now, when you train in the gym and when you're training like in an environment with weights and things like that, they talk about this quite a lot, and it can get a little bit cringy. But when it comes to yoga, I think it's such a beautiful way of putting it, actually, because when your mind is in that space, you are breathing into that space, you are focused on that space, you're noticing it more than anything else. You're noticing it more than just a "ooh, good stretch" or "ooh, hard stretch." Yeah, you're really with that sensation, you're with that feeling. And so, yeah, my invitation for all of us is to just be with the mind and the muscle, and to experience this practice as if we've never done a splits practice before. And some of you may not have done, but really with the intention of just, allowing the body to unfurl how it's going to this morning. And you might surprise yourself as soon as you relax the tight grip around what you think it will be, like even making any assumptions about what you think you're going to like or not like, just let it all go. Let yourself just be with the practice and move. So playlist this morning is freedom. We're going to stick with that this week. It's a good one. It's a goodie. Yes, I will accept cookies. Anyone else get upset that they call that cookies and then there isn't any actual cookies? Because I do every time. Okay, let's start our playlist in 3, 2, 1, go. And we are coming into pigeon pose. We've opened the practice in this pose already this week, so how lovely to do it again. You could have your blocks nearby, but the blocks will not go underneath the hips, ever. Okay, let's come into pigeon pose, however you want to get there. So your right knee's forward, shins down, left leg's coming back, extending. Okay, if you want to rock onto your right sit bone for pigeon pose, bend the back knee, you're welcome to do that too. Okay, but however you want to get there, I'm actually going to use the blocks under my forearms so that I don't just collapse all the way down to the floor. And a nice way to work into the muscle and the space here is to actually tuck your back toes, lift your back knee and shuffle it backwards away. And let the breath move through the body. Hip sway. And just allowing yourself a few moments here just to really connect to this side of the body and this particular hip. Connect to your breath and just notice the way that you're feeling as you arrive here. Yeah, this might be a really welcomed shape to come into first thing, or you might be thinking, oh no. But it's a wonderful way to just tell the body and signal to the body straight away, this is where we're working, this is what we're doing, we're going to have a good time. Take in around 3 more breaths here. Maybe you bend the back knee, heel towards the bum, start to stretch out through that left thigh. As you take those breaths, you don't have to grab the foot, just pull it in, just notice how the hips lift. And from here, we can drop the back foot down, curl the toes under, walk up onto the hands, shuffle that back knee in, and then switch sides. So the right knee comes out, left leg's coming forward. Open up the foot to the side, feel the stretch, shuffle that right knee back. And then as you come down onto the elbows and the forearms, or however you do, you might want to lay all the way down. I don't particularly want to do that straight away this morning in practice, but it's really something for us to navigate our own self-preference. As you breathe a little deeper, let the hips really become heavy. And then noticing how that left side is feeling. And in a comparison that isn't one that's judging that one side's better than the other, but more just a noticing, okay, is there more tightness on one side than the other? And if you can identify that in your body and in your practice, what you can actually do is work to kind of expand in those spaces that might be a bit more coiled up. You can also take this practice off the mat and notice what your body's doing in its day to day, which might be exacerbating that feeling of tightness or restriction. Taking 3 more breaths, maybe you bend the back knee, heel towards the bum. And in that bend of the knee, you're trying to actively pull the heel in closer. So you're activating the hamstring, the bit we're going to stretch out, but you're also stretching through the front of the thigh, the quad, and the hip flexor. Okay, so you're getting 2 for 1. From here, let the right foot come back down. Walk up onto the hands, take the blocks out to the side, tuck the toes, take it back to downward facing dog. Let's open up through the back of the body by pedaling out through the heels, pushing the heart back towards the thighs. Taking any movements here that feel really good. You might want to take one leg up into the air, open the hip. Yeah, whatever you need to do to make yourself feel like you're really arriving in this shape. And from this space, noticing the breath, noticing the body. And let's take 3 rounds of vinyasa here. So as you inhale, ripple forwards to plank. As you exhale, lower down, hug elbows in. One thing that people don't think about much is the back bend that happens and occurs in splits. So as you inhale to rise into your back bend, think about lengthening crown of head up and up. And then exhale, downward facing dog as you move up and back, lengthening spine, creating that spaciousness in the back body. So inhaling, then exhaling as you move. 2 more rounds of that vinyasa movement. And getting really into the body, noticing the things here that might be starting to uncreak or creak as you ripple through. And up and back. Downward facing dog. Left foot comes to the center of your mat and your right foot's going to come straight up to the sky. And in this position, 3-legged dog, I want you to see how far up you can reach the right leg. So really try and create the splits impression in this pose too. Let your left heel press towards the earth, but the left foot is active, right foot is active. Inhale. As you exhale, let's step the right foot through between the thumbs. Grab those blocks, have them either side of you, and press into them as you wriggle that right foot forwards. Move the hands back. Let yourself have the blocks, just kind of in line with the pelvis. So as you drop into them, so for me, I can't quite get my hands flat when I move into this shape. So I'm going to have my fingertips on the block. If your blocks are bigger than mine, then you might find that a little bit better. Or maybe your palms just easily press down as your hips drop into the floor. So let yourself just be and breathe. Find the length in the spine. Try to avoid leaning forwards. If you notice at all in your body, you've got a slight forward lean, I want you to pull out of that. Okay, pull back. And then from here, we're going to go over to the right now. So we might not have a forward lean, but we want to go right side lean, push into the block. Left arm elevates, tip over to the right. Breathe deep, feel the left hip flexor expand. Come back through to the center. Kick back, half Hanuman. So we're going to use the blocks, any setting of the blocks as well, although I've got mine on the highest, but you might change yours up. Press down into the blocks. Actually, I might change mine up. And pressing the right heel down into the floor. So when I said about bringing the mind into the muscle and about really kind of being in the experience of what we're about to move through. Okay, so we're trying to lengthen the back of the leg as much as we can. That's simply it. We're trying to move into as much space there. So press your right heel down, actively flex your right toes towards you. When you breathe here and think about lengthening your torso, so it's like the crown of the head going forward, sit bones moving back, what do you feel? Take one more deep breath in. Don't let off of that activation in the leg. Okay, so don't relax the leg and kind of come away from the activation. From here, we bend the right knee, turn the right toes out, sink into lizard lunge. Blocks come to the inside of your right foot, checking that the right knee is directly on top of the right ankle. Roll the right thigh away, turn to the right hand to thigh, bend the back knee, reach back, catch the foot, push the foot back into the hand. Okay, if you don't catch the foot with the hand, that's what your strap's here for. Lasso the strap around the foot and start to pull the heel towards your bum. So we'll be here for a moment so that we can let everyone that's using the strap actually get into this shape as well and experience the stretch. What's happening here is that your foot's pressing back and your hand's pulling in. So you're getting the energy going in two directions, kind of like it's fighting against each other, except it's not really a fight. It's more just an exchange. Like, I'm going to go this way to create tension here. You're going to go that way to create tension there. And together we're going to create a lot of nice space, a lot of lovely room. Okay, so take another deep breath in, pull and push. Even though I said at the beginning, no pulling and pushing, but there is a little bit of pulling and pushing here. That's okay. That's the okay level of it. Release the back foot down, tuck the toes. You're going to walk to the left. You're going to wriggle. Right foot to the top of the mat. You can bring your blocks with you. Toes point to the long edge of your mat and the foot is flat. Blocks come underneath your hands. Okay, so you can drop onto the elbows, the forearms, rock forwards, backwards, wriggle that right foot out as much as you want to. The other thing I like to do in half kind of frog / half kind of wide leg split pose is to try and tuck and untuck the tailbone. So a little mini cat cow in the lower body, moving the pelvis actually in any way to just really start to work into different areas of the pelvis. And from this space, slow down the movement, wriggle the right foot in enough. Take the block so you can just bring them either side of the mat. Spin so you can face the front of your practice space, and then pick up the back knee, tuck the toes. Reach the hands back behind you as you lay the body over the right thigh. Looking down just in front of the right big toe, take a deep breath in. Exhale. We're going to spin it open into reverse warrior. So as you inhale, back heel drops in and down. Keep the right knee bent, reverse it up and away. Deep breath into the right side of the body. And then from here, side angle, right forearm to thigh, spin the chest, rotate the body. Left hand to the sky, maybe you wrap the left hand behind you. Keep that half bind on. If you've got full bind, I'd release it. And straighten the right leg, Trikonasana variation. Feet are probably a bit wider apart than they would be for normal Trikonasana. That's okay. Right hand to the shin or the ankle, the front of the ankle to a block. Draw the shoulder back. Let the left hip peel back as well. So that space and opening. From here, release the left hand, bring it to the sky. Inhale. Exhale, take it up over by the ear, left fingertips to the floor. Spin on the ball of the back foot. Stay on your left fingertips for a moment. Keep the right leg straight as you try and peel the right arm up towards the sky. At the same time as straightening the right leg, reaching the right hand high, you're pulling the right hip back. You're just here for a brief moment. Big on the IT band. Inhale. Exhale, plant the left hand flat, step it back into side plank. So step the right foot all the way back. Stack it either on top of the left or in front of the left and push the hips nice and high. Deeper breath in. Longer breath out. From here, you're going to spin it to plank and then take your right knee behind your right wrist. We've been here already, pigeon pose. But can we ramp it up a little bit? Yeah, can we take it a little bit deeper? So maybe you were forwards on the elbows or flat to the floor this time. Take those blocks, press into them and start to push yourself up. Remember what I said about the back bend element of splits. Think about if you were in full splits. Okay, so your pelvis is really going to be close to the floor. Your spine is unlikely to be just completely bolt upright straight. So you're going to have natural curvature of the spine exaggerated. So it's good to practice here, being in this shape, pigeon, back leg is in the position the back leg would be in for Hanuman. You can bend the back knee, either lasso strap or with the left hand, reach back, catch the foot, pull the heel in. Okay, so pull the heel in. Feel that lovely spaciousness. Or maybe if you're anything like me, it's not that lovely, but it's necessary. Okay, so maybe the feeling and the sensation is quite big. Think about mind in muscle. Where do you feel the sensation? What do you visualize that sensation as being? And can you breathe into that space, into that sensation? If you've got the strap, you pull on the strap to pull the heel in closer, push back slightly with the foot. Feel how that strength makes you feel lighter in this right hand that might still be on the block or the floor. Inhale, release the back foot down. Tuck the toes. Step up and back, downward facing dog. And then from here, ripple forwards, plank. Inhale. Move through vinyasa. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, down dog. Hips up and back. And just take a moment to pedal out and notice the difference in left and right hand side. Notice what you're feeling. Notice how your body is this morning. And then you're going to step the right foot to the center of the mat. The left leg's going to come up really nice and high. And again, creating that split shape in the sky. Left foot higher and higher and higher. Try and explore the range that you've got here. As you exhale, step your left foot between the thumbs. Back knee comes down. Blocks. Flip up. Drop into your pelvis. Yeah, drop your pelvis closer to the floor. Walk those blocks either side of your hips. Okay, so drop nice and low and heavy with the main heavy bulk of the body, okay? That point from like mid-thigh to mid-back, midsection of the lower body, pelvis, hips, bum, thighs. And pushing into those blocks, elevating chest. Again, if you feel yourself leaning forwards, lean back a little bit, come away from that thigh, unstick yourself from that place. Big breath into the right hip flexor or wherever you're feeling it most. Step back, shift the weight, flex the left toes up. Nope, come back to lunge, ignore what I said. Right hand to the sky, we're leaning to the left. Okay, so we're gonna use that block under the left hand to just kind of guide us out and away. So we can lean a little bit across, but what we don't want to end up doing is like leaning Tower of Pisa style, end up the whole body just shifting over to the left. Think about this only being from the waist, from the ribs. We want to get space as well. Come back to the center. For real this time, half Hanuman. Peel the left toes up. Remember what I said about being active in that left foot. We can't just be kind of half in when it comes to our practice in any way, really. It's, you know, it's good to go all in, and it's good to practice that, what that all in feels like. So full activation of left toes, pull the heel up, but also press the heel down. I'm with you as well, you know, things that get really intense or ramp up the sensation don't always feel like the easiest places to stay. So start to breathe, back of leg, let the crown of head move forwards. Yeah, use your hands to support you here. Big space and breath. Stay for one more breath and stay really active in that left leg for that breath. And then we're going to bend the knee, turn the left toes out, walk the hands to the inside of the left foot. So we're in that lizard lunge position, toes out, heels in, but checking that the left knee is stacked on top of left ankle. Left hand to thigh, so we're rolling to face the left. Bend the right knee, reach back with the left hand or lasso the strap around the foot. And again, when you catch that foot, think about what we're doing here. We're trying to kick back. We're also trying to pull in. You know, we're trying to create a little counter energy going both ways, counter resistance. Breathe into it. This can be your deepest, most sweatiest practice if you let it be, if you let yourself really feel the breath in the body, in the space where you're getting the stretch. So breathe deep. And whatever you've got going on around you, I can see a couple of screens with cats, kids and cats. Yeah, so just to let yourself be in the body, and also, of course, you're present in your environment as well. And that's okay. You can have both. You get to be with both. Okay, so from here, nice and slow, nice and steady. On your next breath, you're going to release that back foot. Slowly, we're going to turn to face the long edge of the mat. So as we walk around, you might end up taking the blocks with you and turning the left toes to face the long edge of the mat. So you're going to get nice and wide between your left foot and your right knee. And we're walking around to find our kind of half box split, half frog pose. Okay, you're going to go to the place that you can go to. And like for me and my body, this is it. This is where I'm at right now with this side of the body anyway. And again, you can isolate and oscillate the space by tucking, untucking the tailbone, by swaying the hips side to side. How does that get right into the groin? And taking a nice long, deep breath in as you take that last little bit of movement, and long exhale. And then from here, you can take the blocks with you. We're going to go all the way around to face the front of the mat, slow and steady. I think we were meant to move into side plank there and then, but hey, we're just going to be here for now. We're going to pick up the back knee, finding our long lunge, toes point forwards. We'll come back to that, don't worry. As you push the right heel away, finding that lunge, release the hands from the blocks, reach them back behind you. So the body's laying over the left thigh. Okay, we can find that strength and stretch through the body. And then from here, we're going to come up, windmill it up, warrior, reverse warrior. So flip your left palm, reverse away from the top edge of the mat. Send your left knee forwards. Lean back. And then from here, side angle, left forearm to thigh. Right arm up and over. Right arm could wrap. Find that bind, half bind. Whatever you choose, actually, is all good. And Trikonasana, so we straighten the left leg. Unbind your full bind if you were there, before you straighten the leg. Okay, so before you go there. No, it's all right, we haven't missed side plank. My brain just suddenly skipped forwards about 10 poses. I get excited, you see. Don't know why I get excited about side plank. Not really that much of a place to get excited about. And slowly releasing, right hand to the floor, fingertips to the floor. Okay, so we have got blocks, but we're doing fingertips to the floor. This is to keep the strength in the legs and practice keeping strength in the legs. Spin, right heel off the ground, left hand to the sky. So it's a really long revolved Trikonasana kind of esque pose. Deep breath in. As you exhale, we'll bend the left knee, flatten the right palm, step it back, side plank. Big breath in as you push the hips high to the sky. So you find that space, that connection. And slowly from here, turn it all the way back, full plank. And bring your left knee behind left wrist, pigeon. Okay, second time on this side. Maybe this was the side that felt slightly different last time. Maybe it's starting to feel a little more level, or whatever we'll call it. Something. Blocks under hands, maybe. Open up through front body, push down into the blocks. Feel that stretch, feel that opening. Front of body, so belly, spine on flex. Bend the back knee, reach back, right hand to foot, or lasso the strap, pull the heel in. Practice, if you're active here, what happens? It can be really lovely to just feel the stretch, but what happens if we actively engage in being with the stretch? So pushing the foot back, pulling the heel in. And then slowly from here, releasing the back foot, step it back, find your plank, move through your vinyasa. So starting to free up that lovely release that you've created in your body. Back bend, down dog. Nice. Pedal out through heels. Feel stretch, space, and length in the back body. Notice how you're feeling now. We're actually going to walk the hands back towards the feet. Let's meet them and let's see how the back body is doing. So from here, as you inhale, halfway lift. The first one, exhale, just dangle. Hang out here. Let yourself be in ragdoll. Either wrap the arms around each other, hold opposite elbow, or whatever it is that feels good to do without the hands touching the floor yet. Take a couple more breaths here. Eye gaze is back between the knees. And then as you inhale, release the hands down to the mat. Look up halfway. As you exhale, try and keep your palms either flat to the floor or flat to blocks. As you push into the hands a little bit, actively engage in being in this shape. So hands to floor, actively engage in having the hands in contact with the floor. Fold a little deeper. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, peace fingers wrap around big toes. Bend the elbows out wide, fold, pull on the toes. Anchor your toes to the ground by pushing your big toe down. Okay, so big toe pushes down. More length, more fold. Feel how the back of the legs are reacting to this as we're kind of graduating each pose, going a little bit further into the realms of maybe where it doesn't feel quite as accessible, or where there's definitely different sensation, a shift in our sensation. Inhale, release the toes, a cup halfway, lift the front of the feet off the floor, slide the hands, palms face up underneath the feet. Okay, roll into the ball of the foot slightly so you can feel the weight pressing into the palm of the hand, that juicy, meaty part of the thumb. And you might feel this, I always feel this more in the calf. What an important place to also lengthen. Everything's attached in the back of the leg. So great to open up through the hamstrings and the pelvis. But what about the calf, the Achilles, the sole of the foot, the plantar fascia? If any of it's tight or gripping, it's going to have a knock-on effect on our ability to find full flexibility everywhere. Okay, inhale, look up halfway, release the hands from under the feet, wriggle the feet wide. Come and sit down, Malasana squat pose. Ooh, so changing up that feeling and shape, push the elbows to the inside of the knees. Hands in prayer at heart center, deep breath in. Long exhale. We're going to take a little walk in this position to the top of the mat to just get everything firing, okay? Even more so than it probably already is. We've done lots of stretching though. Let's get things a little more kind of fired up and activated and engaged. So release your hands forward. So your elbows are no longer pinning the knees out. What this means is you have to use the strength of the legs. So when you start to activate and use strength, what happens is this. We come up a little bit, which is a good sign. And then you're going to shift from left to right, start to take your walk. Feet stay nice and wide. Don't let the feet come in. Don't be right on the tippy toes. Let the heel of the foot plant down to the floor each step you take. Move all the way to the front of the mat. And when you get there, plant the hands, lift the bum, step the left foot back, open up into your high version of lizard lunge. So turn your right toes out, right hand to the sky, back knee lifted. Big breath in here. And press your back heel away, push through your right foot. And from here, Skandasana on the left leg, walk to the back of the mat. Let's find Skandasana, bend the left knee, right toes pull up. Right arm can sweep up and over. Use your left elbow to push the knee and thigh out. Breath moves through body, hips drop a little lower. Big stretch through inner thigh line, activation through right leg. Walk the hands to the inside of the right foot, slow and steady. Okay, so straighten out your front leg, straighten out your back leg and see if you can plant your back heel down. If not, you can always step the foot in a little bit. And I just want you to grab your peace fingers, right peace fingers around your right big toe, okay? And just start to use that as an anchorage point to pull gently on so that you can bring yourself and breathe yourself into a deeper stretch. So as I exhale, I'm thinking a little bit more pressure, peace fingers around big toe, little bit more movement. From here, you're going to wiggle that back heel free, long lunge position. Keep your toe grip, left hand is down, and swivel to the outside edge of your left foot. Pick up your right leg and see if you can start to travel it back in space. Maybe you kick it to the sky. Maybe you keep it bent. Side plank. Variation. Slowly, keeping the big toe in the hand grip, step it forward to the center of the mat. Bring your hands down, and you're going to shift all your weight into your right leg for standing splits. Another version of our splits practice here. Right hand to right ankle. I want you to find your gaze point now, a still point that isn't going to move out in front of you, just underneath your eye line. Left hand to right ankle too. Slowly from here, look up. So you can choose to do this either with no hands on the ground or with hands on the ground, hands on blocks, whatever support you want. You're going to slowly bend your right knee. It's a little bit like a pistol squat. You're going to hook your left knee round the outside of your right ankle. Come to sit down. We did this yesterday morning in practice, but we're going to stay facing the front for this. Okay, as you sit down, pick up that right leg. Just kick out the bottom leg a little bit. Give yourself a bit of space here. Little rock, little roll. Lots of really lovely stuff here. Lots of really lovely stuff. The opening sentence when you know there isn't probably anything lovely. I should change my language with that, shouldn't I? It is kind of lovely. It's a lovely feeling, isn't it, after going in deep in the hips. Right ankle on top of left thigh. Double pigeon. Some love it, some hate it. Whatever side of the Marmite fence you sit on here, just let yourself move into it. Okay, so this bottom heel doesn't have to be all the way out, but it also doesn't want to be tucked underneath your right thigh. Okay, you don't want to be sitting on top of that heel. So just come to a place where you can move forwards, where you can fold with a little bit. And you can also move. I said yesterday in class, actually, you know, I quite like to move. I don't like being that still here. It's like really self-comforting or self-soothing to just keep a bit of movement when I'm in this really intense pose for my lower back and hips, okay? And slowly from here, inhale, rise up. As you rise up, pick up your right leg, hug it in. I'm going to start to bring that right knee up and over the right shoulder. So essentially what I'm trying to mimic is like I'm putting a backpack strap on. We've heard it all before, haven't we? She's putting her backpack on. Okay, where are we going with this? So we're going to hook the right leg up and over the top of the arm. I'm trying to get as close to my shoulder as possible without being fixated of it needing to be up there. Just as long as it's above your elbow. Yeah, so this is also the pose. Okay, being right down here with the leg. Okay, so this is fine. Yeah, I think we get into our heads that it has to be in a certain place. It has to be that perfection. Really, really doesn't, especially not here. Right hand to left ankle. That's where I'm pinning down. I could also bring my right hand to my right thigh. I don't feel as stable there. And I'm going to go for a kick out to the side. So I like to think of this as like a revolved splits variation or compass pose, sundial pose. And what I'm doing here is my right arm is pushing the leg out. I'm trying to look under my left armpit. Yeah, and I might even take peace fingers around big toes. I'm holding the outside edge of my foot there, but I might even take, as long as I don't feel like I'm going to pull my toe off. Yeah, I can actually take that, and I've got a bit more space. A bit more space, she says. Let it go. The right ankle in front of the left. Take a deep breath in. Sukhasana fold as you exhale. Let it go. There's a lot of spiciness that happens there in the back, so just, ooh. From here, inhale, unravel. Scoop hands under thighs. Either roll over the feet, stepping back, the down dog, or come forwards. We're coming into our squat at the top of the mat. I'm not going to make you do the squat walk. You can step walk or hop your feet wide into squat at the top of your mat. Push your elbows into your knees, your thighs. Push the knees out. Feel the space on the inner line of the thigh. Feel how different it is in the right and left side now. Hands down, inhale, bum to sky, right foot back. High lizard. High lizard. I feel like I need to think this is something else now. I don't think it's not quite what we're thinking, is it? I mean, we're thinking something. Deep breath in here as you activate through the back leg now. And as you exhale, next pin the peace fingers around the big toe, turn the toes forward slightly, and we're going to straighten up and work on folding in. Nope, we were meant to go to Skandasana. Okay, yeah, Mum, we'll go to Skandasana in a minute, don't worry, guys. We won't miss it. I know you'll be sad if you do. Fold, big peace fingers around big toe. We're trying to breathe into the space there. Okay, and the really important factor here is the peace fingers around the big toe. Okay, rebend the left knee. Shift forward, side plank. Roll onto the outer edge of your right foot. Take your left leg with you as you rise up and back. Maybe you straighten the leg, maybe you keep the knee bent. Doesn't matter unless it matters. Okay, left foot comes forward to the center of the mat, Skandasana on the right side. Walk around. It's going to feel a little bit weird because we're right in the center now. We don't usually go to this pose in the center to give a bit more space for the hips. Extend, expand. Nice. Slow and steady, standing splits, front of mat. Walk the hands all the way around, frame the foot. Bring the right leg up into the sky, folding over left leg. Take your left hand to the ankle. Find your drishti, your eye gaze. Think about when we started with that split leg down dog, where I was really saying, like, reach the right foot high, reach the right foot high. And do that here. And then the right hand can come to the left ankle too. Nice. And then from here, hands on blocks, hands on floor, or no hands on anything, just reach them forward. Bend your left knee, get your right knee to come to the outside of the left ankle. Maybe not quite as fast as that, but hey, maybe that's what it needs to be, and that's all good too. Lengthen through spine. Left ankle's going to hook on top of your right thigh, okay? And you can take that leg up for a little cuddle in before you set it down there and kind of come into the shape that for you feels good. Lengthen spine, folding forwards. And slowly from here, wherever you are, you're going to start to unravel the spine, lean back. I'm picking up that front leg, that top leg, the left leg, just giving it a little bit of movement first of all, before I think about wrapping a backpack strap over my shoulder or anything. Yeah, so just familiarizing myself with this limb. It's not often I've got it in my arms. I'm not very often cradling my own foot, contrary to what you probably all think I've spent my spare time doing. And then we're going to put the left leg up and over the left arm, above the elbow joint, okay? Above the elbow joint, maybe it's below the shoulder, maybe it's on top of the shoulder. Depends on your body. Bring that right heel in close. And then where we can where can we hook this right hand? Peace fingers around big toes, whatever it is. Left hand can come to right foot as we extend the left leg over, out to the side. Now, obviously you could straighten the leg all the way if that felt good, but you could also go anywhere between fully straight with the leg or somewhere where the leg is, being cradled still in the arms and it's completely bent. Anywhere in between that is the pose. It's your variations where you're working with right now. You need to be able to breathe though. That's kind of an important factor of yoga, being able to breathe. And then bend the knee, let the foot go, bring it to the floor. Cross the left ankle in front of the right, Sukhasana. Fold. It's a bit of a journey really to the splits, but the clue was in the name, journey to the splits. And as we start to arrive towards that pose, I just want you to think about kind of everywhere you've opened up in the body, what you're feeling, where you're feeling it, if there is tightness and restriction. Inhale, unravel the spine. Either sweep the feet around to one side or roll over your feet. Coming back, down dog. Just letting the hips kind of sway. Pedaling out the heels. Lots of nice space. And then step the right foot. You can lift it high to the sky first of all if you want that lovely big stretch between the legs, and then step it through between the thumbs. Take your blocks either side of your mat onto the highest setting and begin to just shuffle that left knee back, right knee forward. So my kind of guidance and my suggestion to you is that you shuffle the left knee back before you start to wriggle that front leg away, okay? Because when that front leg goes, you're going to be in the pose like then and there. You're not going to have much wiggle room. Whereas moving the left knee back often gives you just a bit more control and a bit more feeling of support with the leg. So I'm taking the blocks either side. And then when and if I feel ready to, I might start to slide my right leg forwards. But what I'm going to be really mindful of, and I've actually just noticed it just then, is that if I change the setting of my block too soon, that I start to really tip forwards and lean into that leg. I want to have complete control with my arms on how low I go. So if I push like this, I'm not in the splits to the deepest place. If I soften my elbows just a bit, then I'm like, oh yeah, okay. But I've got control here. And that gives me complete kind of authority over how far the split will go. Yeah, whatever it looks like for you is perfect. Perfect. Can you still breathe? Can you stay with it? If there's stuff going on around for a moment, can you just look at that front big toe and go, just going to breathe into you. Just going to be with this. And slowly press into the hands. That front leg's going to come in first. The mat's going to come with you. It's all good. Take a little moment to just unravel from that, because that's a lot. So be with the fact that that's a lot for the pelvis. And when you're ready to, we're going to tuck the toes, down dog. Left leg to the sky. Big breath in, reach it high. Left foot steps through. Flip the blocks onto the highest setting. Shuffle that left foot forwards a little bit, and then shuffle that back knee back. Right foot comes back. And you can start to maneuver your way into the split as far as the body wants to go. And taking yourself into that shape. Breathing into it. Using the strength of the hands, my favorite thing in splits to do. You can do this in half split too, by the way. You don't have to be like close to the floor with the pelvis to still get that pressing feeling. It's so good. Feels like you've got complete autonomy over where, and because you do, over where and what happens. Where in the body it occurs. Use your breath to support you. As you slowly come out of the shape. So definitely offering up the space here for us to practice our inversions to headstanders or pincher. Yeah, I'm going to teach both here. Or I'm going to explain both. You can come into the one that feels good for you. And the reason why this is a really good opportunity to do it is because of that split leg entrance. Your hips are open, hamstrings are stretched. That feeling you have in downward facing dog, where you lift the top leg and you try and really create the split in air, that's the feeling you're going to recreate for your inversions. There is going to be a little hop up in pincher, but I'll tell you when that's appropriate and when we're going to do that. And it's almost going to feel like, for some of us anyway, it'll feel like we're trying to pull ourselves back from where we're able to go. It's like we're trying to put the brakes on just a little bit, like just tapping them on, and then we're fighting against a bit of a current. But the reason for that is it's going to build strength. It's going to actually build the muscles and the muscle memory that we need to remember how to come into this pose without it being a little bit kind of chaotic and without it feeling really rushed. Just literally inhaled a hair. How horrible. Okay, well, while I chew on that and deal with that, awful, we're going to set up headstand. Elbows are down. Okay, there it is, thank God. I was thinking I can't go upside down with this thing in my mouth, no way. Hold on to opposite elbows. As your fingers wrap around the outer edges of the elbows, release the hands, interlace the hands, push the little fingers down. Okay, so the hands are locked in, you've got that feeling of connection there. Turn the top of the head to the floor.
Now, I have been teaching this without the top of the head down. We're going to go for the top of the head down for today, okay? Now, just because the head is on the ground does not mean that it needs to bear the weight of the body as you come up here, okay? So really what I want it to be known as is like, it's headstand, but really it's forearm stand, even here, even though this might not be traditional forearm stand or look like traditional forearm stand. Sorry, I'm shuffling around because I keep forgetting that that thing is behind me and I'm probably going to kick it as I lift my legs. So I'm going to hold my opposite elbows. You can do this in real time with me if you want. Opposite elbow hold, release hands, lace hands together. Okay. And then we're all going to put the tops of our heads to the floor and start pushing down through the elbows and the forearms. Even though my head is down, I'm being really active there. Lift the knees, walk the feet in, and I'm going to step one foot to the sky. And as I lift that foot, I'm going to try and really point the toe, really actively point the toe. And as that right leg comes up and over my left leg, it's like magic, it comes off the ground. Both legs are active participants in a lift like this. Give yourself space. You probably need a bit of space between you and the wall as well if you're lifting up against the wall. The other thing that's great here is you have two blocks, or you have some sort of prop, or you have the edge of a sofa, your bed, a chair, coffee table. And what you can do is you can do the setup the same way, opposite elbow, hands together, top of head to floor. You can do everything the same, but instead that bottom foot, you can step onto the blocks and whoo-hoo, you're giving yourself a really great advantage at lifting because you brought the floor closer to your leg, which means your hips start higher up, which means that when you reach your maximum tipping point, you've got that much more to tip. So your hips might only just by about a millimeter not be quite in alignment to allow you to tip all the way into headstand. And this is going to bring you a lot closer. There's definitely more than a millimeter. So play with that. For people with pincher, you're going to try forearms down. And you are going to try with the blocks as well. Forearms down, palms flat. Foot to the block or blocks, she says. One leg up. Maybe you hop. Ooh, don't hop back down onto the block. But the idea is that you're trying to get yourself, your hips up higher before you start to take that hop. For pincher, actually, blocks are a bit harder because you get a lot more weight through your leg because your head isn't down, probably. And it might be something that you're not that used to. So if you do have something, I don't have anything in this room, I'm like searching around. My feet up trainer is buried beneath the bolsters. So if you do have something like the edge of a bed or sofa, you might need to move off the screen for a moment, but you could come into a really wonderful lift with that as well. Okay, so if that feels good to you, have a play. And it doesn't matter really what it looks like. It's not really meant to be like, you know, it's not meant to be the most perfect looking thing, especially not in the early stages where we're just building. But we can practice this because what it does is it also brings us into a bit more of a connection with our split practice. Because the splits, yes, on the floor where gravity's at play, great. Yes, indigo, help. I don't think that's help. Nice. Well done, everyone. Really nice strength. And think about strength rather than thinking about like just the float when you get up there. Squeeze the legs. Nicola, how's that pincher doing? Yeah, on, off. Nice. Good. Lovely, Amy. Try and catch ourselves in the space and be there with strength as well. Yeah, and when we're up there, stay there. Also, you don't have to bring the legs together at the top. So you could take this practice and keep the legs split. Nice, Josie. I don't think there's anything that's more incentive than not wanting to crush your kid. Nice, Nicola. That was lovely. Really nice. So nice hold there, Josie. Good. Yes. Really lovely, everyone. Good strength. Nice, Becky. Good lift. That's it. That top leg. Send it to the sky. Send it to the sky, sky, sky. That's it. Really push that heel up. Good. Yes. Nice strength. That bit where you're kind of
getting annoyed at yourself because you're just tipping in and then coming back out. That's the play place. It's really annoying to be there, but when you're there, you get to really experience the feeling. I just got that when I went up into pincher. That's why I came out of it so quickly, because as soon as I was there, it was so hard for my thighs, for my core. I could really feel the strength of the pose coming in. Nice, everyone. So take one more kind of movement towards an inversion with split legs and focus on the split legs. The practice has been about the splits. Let's stay with that being our kind of main focus. Change the leg if you haven't already, for the fun of it, really. I'm not sure which camp I sit in, whether I think it's important that you switch legs every time you do an inversion and you can do it exactly the same on both sides, or if I don't know whether that's just like one of those self-punishment things that we do to try and create perfect equilibrium in the body, when in reality, nothing is perfect. There is not a lot of equilibrium, not just in body, but in most things. So why are we trying to force it here? It's hard enough to turn onto the head or forearms. So let's let ourselves be with that. And just come into nice, Eve, lovely option there as well. Just coming to lay on the back for a moment, actually. And as you lay on the back, what I want you to do is at the skull bone, sit on the mat, and then I want you to shuffle your shoulder blades deliberately down so that what you get is this really gentle but definite stretch and length either side of the neck. So it actually eases off the tension. And for those of you that might be feeling neck tension in the headstand, unfortunately, it is a byproduct of headstanding in that way. And that's why the pushing through the elbows, it couldn't be more important. That's why that cue I go on and on and on about it, because it couldn't be more important. But I am going to sneakily let you into another headstand practice this coming week where we're going to be practicing like that. And I think I'm going to encourage us to practice like that for the foreseeable, or for as long as we can, just to try and enhance a practice that some of us already have in. So as you lay back, just make sure the shoulders are down away from the ears. Okay, let there be length through the neck. So you might need to shuffle the shoulder blades down. The flesh of the back needs to move down. The skull needs to be sitting on the earth. And then you're laying down, relaxing, allowing yourself to start to soften into the floor, finding Shavasana. And as you let the body just rest in the earth, and just allow yourself to relax as fully as you can. And just keep letting yourself sink down into the earth. Feel your body here. Notice yourself. Something that we easily skip past, noticing ourselves, noticing not just how we feel, but just ourselves, our full selves here and now. And the next minute or two is just dedicated to you taking a scan of the body all the way from the tips of the toes up to the crown of the head. Allow yourself to begin the process of reawakening. As you reach the crown of the head in your internal scan, just start to breathe a little deeper. Move the hands and the feet. Reawaken the body. Notice if there is anywhere in the body that might be feeling, a little bit tired from practice, or from your night's sleep, or lack of, or the week. Just honor that today maybe you get to be with that feeling a little bit. Or if you're feeling super activated and amped up and ready to go, honor that too. Live in the energy that is presented to you each moment, each day. Make it easier on yourself. Look the knees in and give yourself a lovely squeeze and that nice reassuring hug and rock and roll side to side. Landing on your left or your right hand side and gently coming up seated. Welcome back. As you arrive, eyes closed, hands together in prayer. Take our thumbs to third eye. We'll seal our practice here with a little bow of love, honor, and respect, remembering that we are all connected. We are one. Namaste. Thank you. And happy Saturday, everyone. Thanks for joining me.